Real estate prices are sky high, insurance rates are up, HOA dues are high. A lot of people now know about Destin, Florida. The world's luckiest fishing village is no longer a best kept secret. But is it a good place to live in 2024? Stay tuned and find out. What's up, guys? Eric Lighton, Emerald Coast Abode, your favorite real estate agent on the Emerald Coast, part-time gopher at What's Up Beach Vacation Rentals. And today I'm coming to you live from the beach. Got some stormy weather blowing in. I had to get some furniture tucked away into the corner of the balconies per the guidance of the HOA. But we're here live at Emerald Isle 2103. It's one of our newest vacation rentals on our program. So Destin is a mixture of high-rises, single-family homes for vacation purposes, and then also there's a residential component to Destin. So today we're going to examine if it's a good place to live in 2024. The first topic that we're going to approach with Destin is the cost of living there. Now, a lot of people like to lump Miramar Beach in with Destin. They just assume Miramar Beach is Destin. So we're going to talk about that too. Miramar Beach, I like to consider it new Destin because the construction's a bit newer. So we're going to take a look at the median sale price within Destin and Miramar Beach and compare it to the median sold price in the United States for 2023. So Destin is $655,000 median sold price in Destin, and then Miramar Beach is $725,000. And then the median sold price for homes throughout the United States in 2023, $410,000. So you can already see that this market is a little more expensive than the greater United States. Now, to add to that, we also have a lot of condos and gated communities and things with HOA dues or condo associations. So that's going to add to the cost of ownership. And then you're also going to have the increased insurance premiums that are so prevalent in Florida right now. So just be wary of that. So the cost of living from a housing perspective is a lot higher than the average in the United States. But some aspects like the price of gasoline, groceries, transportation overall seems to be a bit lower here in Florida. And then also we don't have state income tax. We do have a sales tax on everything, which is common throughout every state. So a couple things to consider. Now, to add to the affordability layer of this, a lot of the condos and homes south of 98 are going to be approved for short-term renting, meaning you could Airbnb, VRBO your property when you're not using it. From a second home perspective, if you're using it, the property as a second home, that you can create a layer of affordability by renting out the unit. Now, back in the day before pre-COVID appreciation, when housing prices were a little bit lower in this part of Florida, you could cash flow your short-term rentals. Now, Destin is one of the more premier markets. Miramar Beach is definitely a more premier market. It's harder to cash flow given the higher sales prices or listing prices of real estate right now. The rental income doesn't quite match the sales price to where it can completely cover. Obviously, that's going to depend on your down payment and a lot of things. It's kind of an equation of variables that you have to put together. So as far as the affordability, it's definitely up there. It's definitely an above average market. Moving on to the next topic, which is employment in the area. And this is more for people looking for their primary residence. Now, tourism is huge here in this part of Florida. I kind of run my business on that with second homes and then also the vacation rental aspect of the business. But in terms of the level of jobs out there, a lot of them are service-oriented, tourism-centric jobs that doesn't necessarily align with those higher purchase prices on those luxurious second home and condos. Now, I mentioned there is a more residential market in the northwest part of Destin, but there's definitely even lower price inventory for those primary residents kind of outside the Destin city limits, whether it's Fort Walton Beach, Niceville, Crestview. There are a lot of alternative options out there in terms of affordability, but in Destin specifically, when it comes to the employment, a lot of jobs are kind of service-based, retail, property management, maintenance, housekeeping, a lot of jobs associated with the tourism industry. There's a lot of attractions too. There's a big water park, things like that. Now, with that said, outside of Destin, there's Eglin Air Force Base to the west. That is the Air Force largest Air Force base. So a lot of that is range though. They do have kind of two other facilities, Hurlburt Field and Duke Field, that's in Crestview, that are tied to Eglin Air Force Base. So there's a market for kind of GS jobs, and also there's some third-party defense companies in the area that are operating. I know there's Lockheed Martin and a few other programs going on here locally in terms of the jobs. So there are some more professional, higher paying jobs in the area, but they're kind of outside of Destin. But the majority of the jobs are kind of service oriented. So something to keep in mind. Obviously, if you work from home or you own your own business, that's not really going to be an issue. But in terms of the W-2 employment opportunities, I think most will find it lacking compared to most urban type environments. All right, the next topic that we're going to talk about are the schools in Destin. In the school district for Okaloosa County, that's the county that Destin is in, are very good. The elementary and middle school in Destin are both rated A, and also Okaloosa is the top 5 out of 67 school districts in Florida. So really good schools. Both of the elementary and the middle school are Purple Star schools. That is a special designation given for service to military families. So that's awesome. We have a big military community here. If you couldn't tell, I am a veteran of the United States Air Force, and there's plenty of folks in the area that are tied to the military. So it's good to have. The high school in Destin is relatively new. It just opened in 2020. Before, kids had to be shuttled to either Fort Walton Beach or Niceville. So having that high school in Destin is really convenient. It is a charter school, so it's a little bit different than your standard high school, but for the most part, it operates the same. There are still some kids that can opt to go to Fort Walton Beach or Niceville, but it's nice to have that option available. So the schools across the board, very good in Okaloosa County. So if you venture across the Walton-Okaloosa County line, Miramar Beaches in Walton County, schools are awesome there as well. They're all A-rated schools for the most part. If you head up north a little bit, there's a couple schools that are B-rated, but for the most part, all A-rated schools. High level, really good grades, really up in the upper echelon of the counties and schools. So across the whole area here, it's touted for really good schools. Next topic is things to do in Destin, and there's a ton. I could really make a separate video just on this alone. And the obvious one that's right in front of us is the beach. So the beach is actually a crazy thing of nature, a lot of systems coming together to bring us this beautiful beach. And what it is quartz particles being ground up from the Appalachian Mountains, delivered through the Apalachicola River and brought to us on the beach. So what people are putting on their countertops is what's on our beach. I mentioned this in another video, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but it really is a lot of systems of nature coming together to deliver this awesome beach that we have here. So in addition to that, Destin really has a unique feature, the intercoastal waterway where the Gulf of Mexico meets Choctawhatchee Bay. There's a place called Crab Island. I'm sure many of you heard of it, but it's basically a boater's paradise. It's a huge sandbar where boaters come to dock their boats, and they have inflatable water slides. They have girls on little boats that come up with pineapples and will cut you a pineapple in half and serve you a drink. And it's a lot of fun. It's a place kind of where people go to party, but it's also family friendly too. Everybody is real relaxed and just cutting loose and having a good time. In addition to that, obviously boating is huge here. So we got people going to Crab Island for recreation, but you also have Harbor Walk, which is kind of this unique development with a lot of shops and dining along the Destin Harbor. You have that huge development, Emerald Grand, which is kind of a condo, timeshare, and then it has tons of commercial space at the bottom. And I'll throw up a few photos of that here if you're unfamiliar. But it is a really cool development. Some of the folks that been in Destin a while don't really like Emerald Grand because it kind of takes away from some of the views and things like that, and presents the nature of New Destin, which is highly developed. It used to be a lot more raw, a lot more nature friendly, and some people have criticisms of that from back in the day and how it has developed so quickly. But now you have this really huge development there and a lot of things to do there. They have concerts, they have the fishing rodeo there on the Destin Harbor. So Harbor Walk connects to the Destin Harbor, where they have tons of charter boats where you could do deep sea fishing. So that's a huge thing here. A lot of fishermen. I don't get out there as much, but you can fill up a freezer quick if you go on one of those charter boats during your vacation. So definitely worth a look. And the final thing that I'll wrap up this section with is just the level of shopping and dining around here. Obviously, fresh seafood is a thing. So if you're into that, I would definitely check that out. There's plenty of restaurants around here that cater to fresh seafood. And also, we have the Destin Commons. That's a large outdoor mall. That's where I got the thumbnail from this video. And then there's the Silver Sands outlet. So plenty of shopping to be had here in Destin. Healthcare in the area. So you have a couple of hospitals that are close by. The Fort Walton Beach Medical Center is now called HCA Fort Walton Beach Destin. And that's actually located all the way in Fort Walton Beach. And that's the larger hospital in the area. And then across the county line in Miramar Beach, you have Ascension Sacred Heart, which is a full-scale hospital as well. So both are relatively quality hospitals, but in terms of kind of primary care doctors and waiting lists and things like that, with it being a resort town, I think where the population fluctuates, I think you'll find those wait lists to go see your primary doctor will increase quite a bit during the busy season when we have an influx of tourists in town. So just something to be cognizant of. It's not quite like your big city, and with the varying population that we have in town, there are some considerations when it comes to healthcare. Is Destin a good place to live in 2024? That's going to depend on a lot of things. So if you're jonesing for the beach and you're in a financially stable position, I would say yes. A second home is something I would take a look at if that's something you've been wanting to do for a while. 2024 is going to be a year with more opportunities and much more inventory on the market. The negotiating power is going to be up there, but affordability is going to be challenged. So my advice is to definitely team up with local professional, somebody that knows the real estate market. If you're looking at a condo, make sure you're fleshing out the association and the building. There's some new legislation out. Talked about it in my last video that involves the structural assessments of condos. You're definitely going to want to see if those milestone inspections have been done. On a primary standpoint, there's more inventory if you want to live in Destin full time. But again, there's going to be some opportunities in other surrounding areas that may be more affordable. Now, one thing to consider about Destin versus some of the surrounding areas in the rest of the United States, both Destin and Miramar Beach had double-digit appreciation last year. Overall, the real estate market in the United States had increased, but it was definitely more modest than the post-COVID appreciation. But Destin and Miramar appreciated 10% in Destin, 11% in Miramar. So that's considerable. That tells me that there's still high demand and people look at Destin very favorably to keep on paying that premium of a price, even though the economy has cooled down quite a bit. My name is Eric Lighton, Emerald Coast Abode, your favorite agent on the Emerald Coast with Real Broker. If you like watching my content, smash that like button and subscribe. I'm a small fish in a big pond of YouTubers just trying to make an impact, get my message out there, talk about real estate. Hopefully I'm delivering good value to y'all interested in real estate on the Emerald Coast. If you want to talk to me about anything real estate related, whether it's Crestview, whether it's Panama City Beach, Destin, anywhere in the Florida Panhandle, I've lived here over 20 years. I've lived in most spots on this panhandle. Give me a shout. My contact information is below. If you're interested in the short-term rental market, that's something that me and my wife are very knowledgeable about. Again, contact is down below. Again, like and subscribe. Hope you're having an awesome day.